Hey everybody, it's Jason Shadrick with Premier Guitar, and we're at the Summer Gear Slam, and we're with Don from Gibson Acoustic, all the way from Bozeman, Montana. And we are going to talk today about the original collection of instruments. So Don, why don't you give us a quick overview of what this collection kind of entails?
Well, we're kind of tying into what the USA Electric Division did last year at the 2019 NAMM show, where they introduced the modern and original collections for the electric side of things, and it was incredibly well received, incredibly successful. And so we thought we would just carry that through to the acoustics. And what we did with the original collection, we have what's called the modern collection, which is our acoustic guitars as you have known them for the last many years. But we took our icon models and some of our guitars from our past and gave them back some of the historic touches that had kind of morphed away from the lineup. Tuners, pick guards, bridges, some of the coloration, the antiquing, and that kind of thing. It just gives it the feel of a guitar that you used to own, the one that got away. They're not year specific. They're not 100% historically accurate spec-wise. They're modern built guitars with the feel and look of a guitar from the past.
Can you tell us a little bit? I know you have one in your hand and a couple hanging on the wall. Can you tell us a little bit about the ones hanging on the wall first?
Absolutely. Behind me on my left, I have a 50s J45, which is in ebony. Has the white button tuners, the color, the larger pick guard, which is indicative of that era. On my right, I have a Hummingbird. Hummingbird original, the color is right, the patina is right. We antique these guitars a little heavier than our modern just to give them a little bit of an aged look. The cool thing about all these guitars, though, is just the fact that they're built on a modern platform. They all have electronics, with the exception of the 60s J45 and J50, which are the adjustable saddle bridges. So they're not amplified, they're not electrified. But everything else has a Baggs pickup system in it. And they respond, they perform incredibly well, and just have that kind of throwback look to them. They're just wonderful.
Now, the J200 in your hand there, we heard a little bit on the intro, and you mentioned there were some aspects that you guys tweaked, updated, reverted back to vintage specs. Specifically with the J200, can you walk us through some of the things you did on there?
Absolutely. The 200 Modern, we had kind of morphed into, the best modern version of that guitar that we could build. And now we took a step back and went back to the older style tuners with the Keystone plastic knobs. You can see the truss rod cover is the wide white instead of the more modern thin white border on it. The bridge has the 4 mother of pearl bars, whereas the modern just has 2. And the pickguard is a throwback to the original nitrous celluloid material instead of just the plastics that we use on some of our moderns. So again, nothing that affects the performance or the sound. It's just a great look. And again, for that, to want to replace that one that got away, that guitar kind of like your dad had, this is the original series is the way to go. They work really well and they look great. So
other than these three that we're looking at now, I want to put you on the spot, Don. Can you kind of run down and name what else is in the collection?
Absolutely. We start with our slope shoulders. We have two 50s J45s in ebony and sunburst. We have 60s J45s in wine red and sunburst. We have J50s in both 50s and 60s version, with the 60s having the adjustable saddle. We've got Hummingbirds with natural top or the Heritage Cherry like you see behind me. The Dove is back on the price list again, which it's been a while since it's been a core offering, and that comes in natural or the Vintage Cherry Burst top. J200s like I'm holding here in natural or Vintage Sunburst. We have 50s LG2s, and then we have some throwback original LOOs in ebony or Vintage Sunburst. So it's a nice collection, different body styles, different body shapes, different woods, and it's the response to these has just been fascinating. We cannot build enough of them. It's a good time for Gibson right now. The guitars are great, and the original collection is the star of the show.
So to kind of wrap up here, can you tell me a little about what availability is on the line and kind of maybe a general outline of the price range?
Its availability right now it's with the COVID shutdown that we experienced. We've been back building guitars for I think 6-7 weeks now, and orders are literally outpacing production right now. So it's a little tight, but we have tons on order. We're building an incredible number of guitars per day in the space we have at this factory. Exciting things moving forward is we are actually expanding our factory moving forward over the next year and a half to 2 years. We're going to be able to double our capacity, double our production, and we need that right now. So availability is a little tight. A lot of that, again, was just due to some interruptions in supply and interruption in production due to what's happening in the world. But we just tell people that they're in the stores, they are available, we're shipping them every day, and get out there, try some of these out, you'll love it. The pricing on the originals, what we did is we wanted to give people options away from our modern series, but they basically line out right in the same ballpark. Like a 45 original is basically the same street price at around $27.49 as the J45 modern. The J200 is in the same price point as the 200 modern. So if you have shopped, or if anybody out in the world has shopped and looked at pricing on the 200s, they can get these options right in the same pocket across the board that carries through with Hummingbirds and LOOs and the rest of our core product that is replicated in the original collection.
Cool. So for those people that don't know, I imagine, where can they go online to find out information about this whole acoustic line you guys have?
Gibson.com has a wealth of information. They have everything that's on our price list there with detailed specs, great pictures, and that's where I would recommend people go. Of course, all of our favorite retailers out in the world, all our e-commerce retailers have great websites with great information as well. So if you have a particular retailer that you favor and that they carry our product, you can check out their websites as well. They all do a great job.
All right, Don, we're going to have you play us out with a little bit more on the J200. This is Jason Shadrick with Premier Guitar.